Okay, Dr. Barth, please discuss the aging population and its impact on the economy.
We've had a tremendous increase in the length of time that people live here in Alabama and the United States. At the turn of the 1900s, when we went from the late 1800s to early 1900s, people were living on average roughly 50 years. It turns out today people are living closer to 80 years. That's a 30-year increase in life expectancy. The problem that it creates with people living much longer is they're going to have to set aside more funds for their retirements. And what happens is that people typically work maybe 50 years or so, then they want to retire, and if they're going to retire for 20, 30 years or even longer, it's going to take a lot of money to support those retirement years. And unfortunately, our Social Security system is going to be bankrupt in the not too distant future if we don't do something about it. And that means even if we do something, Social Security is going to be insufficient to provide the sort of funding that people have become accustomed to and would like to have access to during the retirement years. There's also a problem with the state and local pension funds, private pension funds. Many of them are underfunded, which means unless something is done, there'll be insufficient resources, funding available basically, to fulfill all the contractual agreements that were made to people while they were working during their retirement years.
How has the sequester impacted Alabama and its economy?
The sequestration issue came up 3 months ago, and at the time, the Congress and the President failed to reach an agreement, so there were automatically put into place $85 billion in cuts, across the board cuts, except for entitlement spending, the spending that is required by law. But all the discretionary spending was cut by $85 billion in fiscal year 2013. Its impact has been relatively minor nationwide. It's had some impact in Alabama, but not a major impact because, again, $85 billion is a relatively small dollar amount when you're talking about a federal budget in which spending is $2.8 trillion. But nonetheless, having said that, it turns out that any money that's lost to Alabama obviously hurts some people, some businesses, and that's not good.
You told the county commissioners that you are a fan of sales tax and not a fan on tax on income. Why is that?
I'm in favor of a less complicated tax system, and I'm in favor of what's called a consumption tax. Some people might refer to it as a sales tax, but it's not the ordinary sort of sales tax that we think about. It's one in which you don't tax income, because when you tax income, which we do, you're taxing both saving and consumption. So what you want to do is tax consumption. That's when people actually are consuming goods and services, not the saving that takes place. Because saving is important because it flows into businesses and generates investment in building plant equipment and also enables businesses to hire more people. So we have had a problem in this country with too little saving, too much consumption. So if we tax consumption, we're basically going to be discouraging people from consuming as much, but at the same time not taxing the saving, which we do when we tax income. We're taxing both consumption and saving.
You mentioned this morning that the recession took a bigger toll on the Alabama economy compared to some of the other states across the nation. Why is that?
That's because we didn't have the sort of industries in place that basically would support Alabama as compared to the same degree as compared to some other states, such as the automobile industry was hurt during the severe recession. It's beginning to come back, which has helped Alabama grow, but we weren't producing the sort of goods and services that were in as great a demand as compared to some other states, the production of goods and services. So we also, compared to some other states, had a substantial problem with in the housing sector. Housing deteriorated, again, not as bad as some other states, but not as well as other states at the same time.
You put a special emphasis this morning on human capital in regards to education and health. If you don't mind, expand on that.
Human capital is the most important asset in any country. It's the people. It's not the buildings. It's not the roads. It's not the land. If you have human capital, that is people that are healthy and educated and have the skills in a modern economy, that's going to generate economic output and create jobs. That's what's really important. The best investment people can make is in their children. When children get the right sort of education and they have the right skills in a modern economy and they're healthy, they can be productive at the same time. More productive than if children don't get a good education, don't have good skills, and basically have health problems such as being obese or overweight. We know from all the studies been done, the most productive people, the people who contribute most to the economy, are those people with the right skills for a modern economy. What we have is really a mismatch between skills and jobs today. It's not so much merely an unemployment problem. We have a lot of jobs that are going to go unfulfilled because of the fact there aren't the people with right skills for those jobs, and I'm talking about a modern economy. So it's people basically, not buildings. Buildings are useless without people who know how to use the buildings and how to produce goods and services within those buildings.
Thank you very much.